Hello again. I've been, albeit very small, been getting a good amount of positive reviews from telling more stories about my life. Sorry about that. So I thought, why not tell more? Because I'm an open book when it comes to certain things, so don't really have a problem. So today I'm going to be talking about not having a dad. Whap, whap, whap. Men are awful at being fathers, at least the older generation. Ha 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 ha. I'm biased. Not really, but about men being bad fathers. That's just, you know, I will say that not a lot of people. I'll leave that to myself. But you can be poor and have both of your both parents in your house, and it makes it easier. And you can be poor and have only a mother, and it can be still they can give you everything, and it could be easier. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have both, and it's terrible. And sometimes you have only one, a mother or a father, and it's terrible. It doesn't matter. You don't know. It's always you're just born into the life you have. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to accept what you were given and work from there. But I'm gonna go over some key things that shaped my worldview. Now, personally, my mother, for instance, was always a compassionate woman, very caring, very emotional. Even though she was cussed like a sailor, and very matter of fact, very, straight to the point. Doesn't sugarcoat things. She doesn't like beating around the bush. She'll tell you how it is. But she cares about people. She cares about a lot of people, and that was instilled into me a long time ago. When I would see her giving even her last dollar to somebody who needed it, even though she didn't have anything. There'd be times where we'd have food at the house. She always made an effort to make sure that we got fed. But she would have money that she would use for, the house or whatever, or for food and whatnot, and then still give it to somebody who needed it, and then just figure out the rest later. That showed me from a young age that compassion is the most rewarding thing, the most important thing. That even if you have nothing, and it's easy to just say, well, you should just keep it. And that's the smart thing to do. But sometimes compassion outpaces. You can't leave people. And now I grew up very bullied, very targeted. We moved around a lot, so I didn't have, and without a father figure and whatnot, I looked at myself as wrong because I wasn't very masculine growing up. I was trying to, I guess, meet having a father halfway by trying to be more manly, but I couldn't, because it just wasn't me. I liked being silly. I liked the women that we were around. My mother and my whole family, we were around beauty salons and, hair places and things like that, because that's where my mother worked. One of the jobs that she worked. And women had the most important role in my life. And there was only very few men, very, very few, which shaped me, my utter distaste of men in general, just being in fact that I like having friends, but I prefer them all being women. It's just how I like it, just out of comfort. It feels familiar. And I surround myself with those women while I don't surround myself with men. I have much more female friends than I do men. Just because, not that they have anything to do with my life. It's just, and how it turned out. I guess, whatever. Absentee father, resentment, daddy issues. But I got bullied a lot. I got beaten up. I got called racial slurs. There were a lot of things, both in the home and outside of the home, that happened to me, from neighborhood kids to everybody. I just was not likable. I don't know what it was, what people thought about me, and it made me crazy. It genuinely drove me mad. I became paranoid. Anybody that whispered around me, anybody that said anything to me, sent me off the edge. And to this day, if anybody whispers or giggles or laughs, I'm not in on it. It shakes my core, even though I don't care. I'm a grown man, and I'm like, oh, they're enjoying themselves. That's good. The back of my mind still is that tiny kid that's like, it's you. They're gonna be mean to you again, no matter what you do. They're just gonna be mean. a lot of things have happened to me. I can't go over everything because there's a lot of stuff that I'd rather not talk about, but I have not had a very nice life, But anyway, but seeing as my mom had to work all the time, and seeing as, she had to spend most of her time splitting up all of the attention between three of us when she had no energy. My brother was being homeschooled. My sister was her only daughter. And, the parents say I don't pick favorites, but there is a bond that can happen between two people. And my sister and my mom had a very strong bond. And, seeing as I was always unwanted by everybody around me, I wanted that too. And I had a very idolizing view of my father, even though he wasn't in my life. I wasn't dumb. I knew he was in my life for very specific reasons. He wasn't the best person and things like that, but I still wanted it. So I still created that because it made me feel better. I would act like my father wanted me. I would act like my father. If I just had him, everything would be better. It wouldn't matter if my brother was mean to me. It wouldn't matter if all the kids were mean to me. Somebody would care about me. Somebody would want me in their life. Hold on, I had to pause this because my mother's calling me. Speak of the devil. Sorry. Hello. Got to say hello to my son. So, anyway, as I was saying, around the time of my adolescence, I idolized my father. Not to be whiny about it. I'm not saying that's how it was when I was a kid. I idolized him. Not him exactly, but the aspect of having one, and I would sometimes lay awake at night in my room, in my apartment. I'd be sitting on the floor, laying on it, and I'd look up at the moon because my window faced where the moon would rise, and I would just watch it. And, sometimes I would run over to the window in the morning or in the night, and I'd pretend that he would be there, that he would be pulling up. And I knew he was not the best guy, but I just wanted to have something. There were 2 times that I have either heard my father's voice or met him. The first time I heard my father's voice, I always saw him in pictures. There's only one picture my mom had of him, and I'd look at it all the time with all my baby pictures. I was reminiscing at 8 at all my pictures. I don't know. I guess for better times. Who knows? But I think it was my 8th birthday. It was my birthday. I was still a young kid, and I was sweating. My hands were clammy because my mom told me that he was on the phone. I was having fun. I didn't have friends, but my mom had kids invited over and things like that, and I was just having fun. I was just losing myself. And I heard he was on the phone, and I thought, this is everything. If I can get him to laugh, he'll love me, So I get the phone, and the first thing out of my mouth, this is as confident I've ever been. I had no confidence. I was a shy kid, but I said this confident with my chest. I was like, this is my dad. And I was like, hey, Dad, where's my present? Thinking that would be hilarious to him. He'd laugh about it and be like, oh, unfortunately I couldn't. And he got mad at me. And I don't know if he was really mad, but his tone as a young kid who can't really, all I've ever seen is whenever people had any kind of tone with me, it was always truly angry. There was no irony in it. It was always anger. He had a tone, and it broke me down. I started crying immediately because I thought I messed it up. I messed it all up. It was a joke. I was just joking. Then my mother and him proceeded to fight on the phone. And, my mother told me later, much later, that, that was the moment that she stopped loving him. Not to tell you guys their business, but she did still have, obviously, But, that was a moment seeing me cry, that she decided that she was just done, fully. And that hurt even more. Weirdly, even though I didn't care, it was just like, great, another thing I'm responsible for, But I thought, whatever, no big deal. I think I wasn't confident after that. I think that contributed to me being more shy, not being willing to make a joke all the time, because I just didn't want things to backfire. I was always careful with every word after that, That's what really set me into the path of manipulating people to make them like me. That was always the goal. I didn't want to hurt them. I just wanted them to not be mean to me, which didn't work because I didn't talk to people. So, I used to rate people in points, right? Every good experience, it doesn't matter how many good things, no matter how much you make them laugh, no matter how much you do for them, if you get them mad, it's over. That was it. That was my whole personality, my whole idea. You cannot have them mad for the day. It erases every single thing that you do. Every good deed, everything that you've done, it erases it. They're angry now, and they keep that to heart, and now they don't like you. So that would cause me a lot of stress. I still liked my father. In a sense, I still wanted to meet him. I still had, high hopes and all that, despite knowing a lot about him, knowing who he was and the things he's done, or at least from a perspective of my mother. My mom, this was years later, my mom made a point to get him to see me because she thought it would be good for me. She didn't care, but she thought it would be good for me. So she bought him a ticket. She pulled every string to get him from Louisiana to where I was. And he was in the house, and I didn't even know. He was in the house for a good bit, playing with my sister. My sister has another dad, and he was just there. And I kind of resented that. I was just like, he was there this whole time, but whatever. She comes knocking on my door, and I open it, and there's this man standing in front of me. She's like hidden, and it's just him. And I'm shy, my face is red, so I just see a strange man standing in front of me, And she's like, you know who that is? And I'm like, no. And she's like, that's your dad. Grin ear to ear. I've been waiting to meet this guy forever. Shook me to my core when I met him. We planned a trip to go see museums. I don't really remember much of that day. I don't even remember much about the party after that call. I literally only remember that call. That's all that stuck out from the party. I just knew that I was happy, and then I wasn't. And then this moment, I was happy, and I wasn't. I remember going through the museums a little bit, getting mad that my mom wouldn't let my dad let us go to the museums that he wanted to go to. I just wanted to do whatever he did, right? So, after oh God, sorry, I'm not good at telling stories. It's my memory's really poor. I've blocked out a lot. I've had a lot of trauma. The only thing I can remember, I don't even remember what my dad's voice sounded like. I really don't. Not even a little bit. But I do remember what he said to my mom. I didn't hear it at the time, but she told me about it later. And he asked, why does he cry so much? Because I was an emotional kid. And I did cry. I cried a lot. I never cried after that. I would hold it in. I was told that after because he said he was going to stay for a week. He said he was going to stay and we were going to hang out. And I thought, good, I can make a better impression. This was everything. And then he left that day. I never saw him again. And then that's where it finally was like, I don't need a father. I don't need anybody. I'm just, at the time, I was like, I'm unlovable, I'm nobody. And that's the life I have. So, screw it. I never cried after that. I still struggle crying. I don't like it. I control myself. Even though I think it's good to cry. I just lock up and I stop, But, I don't know. So after that, I no longer cared and everything like that. The thing was shattered. Everything was shattered. The dude sold drugs. The dude was not the best guy. He was kind of like a con man. Things like that. No judgments. Get your money, but not the best of people. I just wanted somebody. And I decided when I was a kid that if I ever had a son, then I couldn't leave him. I couldn't not be in his life. I couldn't. Even if his mom hated me, even if everybody hated me, the only person that wasn't allowed to would be my son. That's the only person. Everybody can hate you. Everybody. But not him. Sorry to my daughter, but, I just knew. Even my son decides later on, this is who I am, and I'm like, I think my truth is that I'm non-binary or gay or gay, like that. Sorry, non-binary or trans, and she's like, I'm actually a girl. I'm gonna be like, fine, I have a daughter now, or I always had a daughter. I don't know, it doesn't matter. That's my kid. The fact is that no matter what they decide. So I had my son by accident. Didn't mean to. Obviously, I had him too young. I'm not on the best terms with his mom. I wasn't the best person. I'm working on it. I'm trying to change. There's a lot that I have to work on, and I'm doing it every day. But the one thing I couldn't stand, and what I can't stand, it's an immediate. I'm full of rage. I don't know why. But I can't have people telling me I'm a bad father. I can't have people telling me that I don't care about him, When every single one of my actions, everything I do is for him. I don't want money. I really don't care about it. I don't want fame. I don't want any of this. It just leads to ruin. Everybody hates you eventually. It's always about a game. It's always about, let me get my clout. Let me get my thing. Let me get this. Let me get that. So they'll take you down sooner or later. That's the point of fame. People use you as a character trait for themselves. Whether it's liking you, hating you, and I just didn't want it. But I saw that I had an opportunity with the fame I got on that stupid app. So I'm using it. I'm doing whatever I can. Because I was fine working menial jobs, living the rest of my life as was, But I knew when I held him. I knew that when I was crying right as he was being delivered, I knew when I held him. And even though he had this weird alien head that looked gross, I held him. And his skin was so soft. And his body's so small. He couldn't even open his eyes. He just was silent. And he was such a silent boy. He always slept. Didn't make noise. He's loud as all can be now, but that's because he's a kid. But he was such a nothing. Like, just you wouldn't even know he was in the room with you, And before he was born, I kept telling him, his mother, that I would be in his life even if she hated me. And I think I sabotaged that because, I didn't think anybody could like me. So, I did bad things and just kept trying to make her hate me. And it worked. It worked. She's a great mother. She's such a great mother. I'm so glad he has her as a mother. But, whatever. I don't know. Just bottom line. After he was born, it just fully solidified it. I can't feel a lot of things. I'm nulled. I'm dull. Empathy, bonding empathy. I can still feel empathetic and still feel for people, but it's just so muted. Everything's so muted. But I knew that even if I couldn't, feel, I didn't know if I felt the same way as other people. I didn't know if I felt the same as his mom. I didn't know what. I never really experienced it because I've only ever seen ugly my whole life. But I knew in that moment I wouldn't be what my dad was to me. I'd be what I wanted my dad to be. And I'm very happy. I'm very happy that he has a loving network of people, something I never had. I'm envious sometimes. I'm so jealous, I see that he has just this big family. Everybody loves him. And I'm so happy for him. And that's all you can want. So, this was supposed to be about my dad, but, that's what shaped me. My mother's compassion to other people made me want to emulate that. And then the lack of compassion I got kind of shaped me into believing that, a kid needs to feel wanted. Everything I do in life is just to be wanted, Every decision I've made, everything I've ever wanted has been to be wanted. to feel like I have a place. And now I don't care. Now I'm just going with the punches. I'm just doing whatever. I always expect the worst, but as long as any kid I have, not with my knowledge, I don't have any others, to my knowledge. I don't get around like that, but they don't hate me. No, everybody else can, but I cannot. It might be selfish, but I can't have them hate me. Especially not my son. Not my son. No. So, I think the absence of a father made it harder for me to feel connective towards the masculine culture of, like, this is what men do, because I just never saw a point to it. I died to it because I wanted to feel connected to my dad and connected to men, because, I felt alone with nobody. And I just realized that wasn't me, It didn't feel fun. It didn't feel nice. It didn't feel good. It was just always like, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then they still hate you. You can do everything right. You can behave however you want. And then they still freaking hate you. There's no escape from it, But the love of a kid. If you do it right, and maybe sometimes you do it right and it doesn't do well, and it backfires on you, but if you try your best, that love will be for a lifetime. Even if everybody leaves you, they won't. So, I'm gonna have to leave because this is gonna have to be the end of the video because I'm getting a little worked up. And I don't like people hearing me record these videos. There's like, these walls are paper thin and it's nighttime. It's just a personal thing. I don't like opening up to people. It's much easier to put a wall, which is my monitor and my camera, in front of me. But anyway. I'm not good at stories. I'll try to get better. Everything will improve over time. I do appreciate all of you for watching. I do appreciate every single person that enjoys my stuff, and I am happy whenever you're happy. It does make me feel good to know that I'm not contributing to pain and suffering, even though I have. And that's my goal. I don't want anything but that. So, if you'd like to hear more stories, getting to know me, I can make this a thing. I can just tell you more about me. It's not going to be a crybaby fest about pitying myself. There's no pity here. And I don't want your pity. But I think that you should not ever subscribe to anybody or follow anybody without knowing the kind of person they are. So that when people ring the bells and want to hate you, they at least know who you are. They at least know the kind of person you're trying to be. So I think it's just my own fears, my own history of being hated so many times and throughout my entire life, the bullying, the beatings, the slurs, everything, that I just expected all to fade away. So I'm both terrified and hopeful, and I also don't care. It is what it is, It can go either way. I just hope to have something that I can give to my son in the future. Anyway, I don't show him. A lot of you are surprised when I say I have one. A lot of you don't know that. A lot of you are from TikTok. Everybody doesn't know. I just don't like him being in the public eye. I just don't. That's my own protection. I don't like it when parents do that. I don't like every parent. I mean, do what you want, but I don't think that's a good thing when you, excuse my language, whore out your kids for money. There's a lot that I'll do for money, but not that. Not that. Never that. You have a duty to protect your children, and yet you put a camera in their face and you hope to go viral because you're nothing but disgusting. Sorry, I'm letting my own bias get the best of me. I just, it's fine, it's okay, but when you're popular, when you have people paying attention, too many people, you have to keep your kids safe. It's just weird when it's just your friends and family, who gives a crap. But when you're trying to get famous off your kids, it's just weird. You're just putting them in danger. Who knows who's out there? Weirdos, dude. Look at Epstein. Look at all of them. And you want your kid to get famous? I don't know. You can know what I look like. You can put any damage to me, but you will not know what my son looks like. The best I can do to help that. I just don't like that. You can see him when he's like 18. But anyway, that's it. If you'd like to subscribe, go ahead. If you don't, I really don't care. I really don't care. If you're listening, you're listening. So watch it, don't watch it, enjoy it, don't enjoy it. It's your decision. I don't care. But I do thank you for everybody that's supporting me, both either financially or whatever way they can. I don't ask you to do that. I'm not trying to, but I appreciate it every single time. And I hope that if I do make it somewhere someday, and I have power and I have responsibility, I will use it in the best light to help people and be a good person. So, love you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching, and till next time. Bye-bye.